Welcome to r/Bestofupdates, where a guy finds out that his child isn't his with a shocking plot twist. I'm a 29-year-old woman, and my 31-year-old husband got a paternity test on our daughter, who's 5, and it came back negative, but I never cheated. Now he thinks that our relationship is a lie and he wants to divorce. What do I do? I don't know how this happened, and I haven't been able to stop crying all day. I never cheated. I love my husband. We've been together since college, and he's the love of my life. He's handsome and kind. And while I have slept with 2 other people, both of these were before we got together. There is no other potential father for our daughter. We were married already and actively trying for a baby. I never cheated, I never would cheat, and I don't know why he took that stupid test because I would never ever cheat. But it came back negative, and now he thinks that he's not her dad. I don't know how to convince him that it was a faulty test, and I'm so scared. These past few months, it's like he's become someone completely different from the man that I married. He's cold and suspicious. He kept demanding to see my phone and wouldn't tell me why. And I did show him at first, but eventually told him that I wouldn't anymore unless he explained why. He's been distant with our daughter too. He stays in his office for hours on end, and I don't know what he's doing. I did not cheat. He accused me this morning saying that he'd done the test after realizing that our daughter's eyes, which are brown, couldn't possibly come from ours, we're both blue, and that he wanted me to get out of the house. I didn't leave, and he locked me out of our bedroom, and now I'm in my daughter's room. This is terrifying. What should I do? And then OP posted an update. Hi everyone. First off, I wanted to thank everyone who reached out. My original post got so much attention. It was hard to get to everything, but I ended up making a list of plans and tests that I wanted to get done. My husband was understandably distrustful of me for a while, but he apologized for the way that he acted, which I didn't need, and said that he wouldn't try to kick me out of our home. He did say, though, that if every test came back that I'd cheated, then he was going to go scorched earth. We did a few tests. We did blood paternity tests for him and me and our daughter, and we had an appointment with a chimerism specialist coming up, but that got canceled because, well, some of you guessed it, but my daughter isn't biologically mine either. I don't know how this happened, but a cop came to our house and took our statements, and we're suing the hospital where I gave birth. I don't know what happened to my baby, and that's terrifying. I have my husband back. But now my whole world has been upended, and I just wish that he had never taken that stupid test. I've been sleeping in my daughter's room, and I'm so afraid that she's going to be taken away from me. But at the same time, I want to know where my biological daughter is and if she's okay. I pray to God that she's okay. My daughter still doesn't know about the details, and we've been trying to keep this quiet. The last thing that we need is a big scandal. I don't want people who know us to look at her differently. She deserves better than that. She's such a good kid, and she's not some spectacle to be gawked at. If we can find her birth family, I have no idea what we'll do. I guess the best case scenario would be to get a bigger house and all live together, but I don't know if we can afford that, or if they would go for that, or even if we'd be able to locate them, or if I'm just crazy. This whole situation is crazy. I don't know anyone else who's been in a situation like this. I mean, are there support groups for parents of kids who got mixed up? I Googled and nothing came up. How do we tell our daughter? I mean, we can't tell her now. She'll tell the kids at school and then it'll be everywhere, but we have to say something. I don't know what I ever did to deserve this. Man, OP, that story is horrifying. You've been building a relationship with your daughter for 5 years, and she's not even yours. She belongs to some stranger who has your kid. Oh man, I don't even know what I would do in that situation. In any event, OP, you have my support because this is an awful situation that you're in. Also, I can't really blame your husband for getting as upset as he did because even though he was wrong, it was a pretty reasonable assumption to make. Our next Reddit post is from Throwaway QQ. My fiancé almost died in a car accident, and my mother-in-law told me that he cheated on me. So my fiancé almost died in a car accident, and that's when my mother-in-law told me that he cheated on me with his ex. Now he's recovering well, and I feel so guilty for wanting to end it. I feel like a horrible person. We're supposed to get married on August 20th in a small ceremony. I'm a 33-year-old woman who's been with my fiancé, who's 34, for 6 years, engaged for 1. These have been the best years of my life. He's brilliant in every way, or so I thought. The accident happened 6 weeks ago. A drunk driver hit my fiancé's car. I spent the worst night of my life in the hospital waiting for answers from doctors, and he went through hours and hours of surgery. His parents and brothers were also there waiting. I've always loved his family, and they love me. His mom was one of my favorite people, and we got along very well. She was happy to have me as her first daughter-in-law. She's religious, and when my fiancé was hovering between life and death, she was worried about his sins. So she told me that he cheated on me about 2 months ago with an ex that he bumped into. She explained that it was because of the wedding and the stress of planning it. Apparently, I've been both stressed out and stressing him out. He had a weak moment. It was a one-time thing, and he regretted it so much. He asked his parents for advice on what to do, and they told him not to say anything. They said that as long as he's remorseful and as long as it's me that he wants, then he should just forget about what he did and move on. His whole family knows about it. After the hospital, he moved back to his parents' house because we live in a flat without lifts. I visit him every day. I haven't told him that I know, and his family is acting like nothing's changed. They're very happy that he's doing better, and understandably so, and my presence by his side is very helpful according to him and his family. Now, both my fiancé and his parents are talking about us being able to get married on the day that we said after all. I feel awful because I don't want that. Our relationship was over the moment that I found out about the cheating. I stayed because I loved him. I mean, I still do, and I want him to feel better. I couldn't break his heart while he's recovering. I also thought that we would postpone the wedding until he was feeling better. I tried to speak to his mom today, but she started hyperventilating and kept telling me to not do this. She said that she made a mistake by telling me and that I shouldn't take advantage of what she said in desperation to punish him and kill his spirit. She said that he's still recovering and he needs me. I've been thinking since my talk with his mom about everything, and I'm so angry at him. I'm ashamed that even when I was worried about his life, I was very angry and resentful. We were supposed to have our wedding in this beautiful manor house with the most important people around us. My best friend is the DJ, and my parents paid for the whole thing, even though they're kind of poor, just because they didn't want me to stress out. I've just been so angry, and I've kept bottling it up since the accident. I'm afraid that I'm going to explode soon. And then OP posted an update. I told my fiancé that I know about his infidelity, and I canceled the wedding. He still wants a second chance. I started by telling my parents about what happened and that I'm canceling the wedding. Hopefully they can get back some of what they paid. I told them that I'm going to pay for the rest of the damages. My dad refused and I insisted. It's not up to him. Since my fiancé still lives with his parents, I felt that I would be outnumbered if I went alone to end it. A text or a phone call wasn't an option since he meant a lot more to me than that, and I really wanted to see his face and ask, what the hell? I also wanted him to see my hurt. I do not want it to be comfortable for him. Cheaters must see the hurt that they cause and hopefully learn from it. So I took my mom with me. When I told him that the wedding was off and the reason why, he started crying. He told me all the things they say in desperation. He was foolish, he didn't think, he was stressed out, he was scared, it meant nothing, he regretted it. He didn't want to tell me because it meant nothing and he didn't want to hurt me. I should give him a chance to prove myself and his loyalty. He can ask his parents to pay for the wedding. We can postpone the wedding indefinitely. I can take the apartment and he'll live with the parents. As long as it takes for me to forgive him. I haven't cried so much as I did when I was listening to his BS and afterwards on my way home. How could he do this to me? He didn't even give me a satisfying answer to why he did this to me. To us. I've cried myself to sleep every night since the accident, and yet I cried like I've just found out. I'm gonna stay in the apartment that we bought together and he's gonna stay with his parents. Prices have gone down these last couple of months, and we both agreed that we don't want to sell for less than what we paid. But the moment that it goes up again, we're selling. I've started packing up his things, and tomorrow I'm renting a van to move his things to his parents' house. Sorting out my fiancé's stuff and packing his clothes made it real for me. I didn't expect it to be so emotional. Why do I still love him so much? He's been texting me and he called me twice and we talked mostly about mundane stuff, but also about us and our relationship. His mom called me to say that she feels guilty for first not advising him to come clean, but also for later divulging his secret to me without his permission. She was disappointed that I took advantage of her moment of panic, but she understands that I'm hurt. She said that he's going to do his best to win me back. I'm a bit irritated about the fact that none of them, including my own parents, believe that it's really over, and I don't have the energy to prove my point either. I just need some alone time now and some peace and quiet. Yo, OP, your would-be mother-in-law said that you took advantage of her moment of weakness. It's like, lady, do you not understand that this isn't about you? It's about OP? Oh man, and the entire family was going to keep that secret from you because, it just didn't mean anything and we should all move on from it. And then to make things worse, they somehow made the cheating your fault. Like because you were stressed out about the wedding, he got stressed out, so he had to go bang some other chick. Yeah, right, buddy. OP, I'm glad that you're leaving. Your fiancé and his family are really showing their true colors. Our next Reddit post is from Dead Drone and was originally posted to r/legal advice. I'm not sure what to do. Earlier today, my neighbor came pounding on my door, screaming obscenities and shouting at me. When I finally got him to stop yelling, I found out that he was flying his drone in my backyard again, and this time my dog finally managed to catch it and destroy it. He claims this was a $900 drone, and I had to pay him right then and there. I refused and closed the door in his face. A couple of hours later, police showed up to retrieve the drone. It was still in my yard, but my dog completely ignored it once it stopped buzzing. The cops asked me about the situation. They said that my neighbor called them and that I refused him access to my yard to get it. But that's not true. He never asked me that. I'm worried that my neighbor will try to press charges against me for destruction of property or sue me. Will he have any legal standing if this goes to court? He has a history of flying his drone low over my yard to tease my dog. I've asked him to stop several times, which he always refuses, telling me that I don't own the air above my yard. I called the police to complain once before that he was doing flybys over my dog and getting very close to hitting him. The police didn't say that he couldn't fly it in my yard, but did ask him to stop doing it to avoid conflict. That only seemed to egg him on. And then OP posted an update. I was served a summons by a sheriff's deputy. My neighbor decided to take me to small claims over his drone. My mother-in-law is a paralegal secretary, so I was able to get a free consultation with a lawyer where she works to ask some questions about what to bring and how to prepare. He seemed genuinely amused that my neighbor was even trying to sue. He also suggested I could countersue and how I could possibly add in more damages. He also told me that my neighbor and I technically live within 5 miles of an airport. And even though the airport doesn't have a tower, technically that falls under FAA regulations. I called the FAA hotline and spoke to them about my neighbor's hobby of flying his drone out of line of sight, flying several thousand feet in the air, and flying near an airport, and I asked if he was allowed to fly registered drones. I also added that he owned 2 very large drones. They took my information and called me back once, so I know that they're investigating, but I don't know anything else. I'm not sure if they'll tell me anything anyways. I brought both police reports to court, as well as several photos of my backyard, photos of our shared 8-foot-high privacy fence, medical bills for my dog, and a few short videos I had of him doing flybys over my dog in the past. My neighbor's main argument to the judge was that I maliciously installed a table to allow my dog to jump high enough to catch his drone, which I somehow trained him to do. And yeah, I had recently bought a new picnic table, but only so I had somewhere to sit and eat outside. I argued that him flying his drone was causing my dog anxiety, and that's what provoked it. Or that my dog could have potentially died from ingesting parts of the drone, or if the drone hit him. In the end, my neighbor now has to pay me $2,000 for various vet bills. He's also banned from flying over my property, and I installed trail cams just in case. He seems pretty upset with me, so I wanted to be careful. The only thing that could make this better is if the FAA finds a reason to fine him or take away his drones. So I've got a drone myself, and I learned a little bit about regulations and flying and FAA rules, and what this guy's doing is straight up breaking the law. So if the FAA decides to pursue charges, then this guy's screwed. That was r/best of Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.